As history repeats itself, the man remembers the patterns. He knows that he needs the missing part for the telescope.
I better find Dr. Meadows' car. That's where the camera should be.
C'è un punto di domanda. Qua.
The atmosphere in the projection booth at the drive-in was charged, almost unreal. Despite that, the air felt cool and refreshing this late at night. It'd been a hot day. The summer was nearing its end, but it wasn't.
6 di 16, ma quindi non mi indica comunque il totale. Mi viene il dubbio che abbiano aggiunto alcune cose. Cioè che le pagine queste sono state aggiunte, boh, non so, al secondo giro. No, forse no. Spero di no, perché sennò non sono recuperabili le altre.
When Dr. Rachel Meadows got the call from Michael, telling her to hurry to the observatory, she didn't waste any time. It had been a nice party. She'd had a good time, but her social life would always play second fiddle to the mysteries of space. Michael never showed up, of course. He pulled over at the wrong rest stop. She never even thought about him at the time. The phenomenon in the sky above her was too fascinating.
Allora, adesso compariva un punto di domanda, ma ho fatto una controllo veloce, sembra che comunque anche questo l'abbia fatto la Remedy, perché in realtà hai menzionato una Nitro Games, c'è scritto, però potrebbero essere quelli che hanno fatto solo un porting magari su PC. Ma questo qua ci ha seguito. Però comunque non è all'altezza di Alan Wake, del base, insomma. Per niente. Ok. Quindi comunque la somma, ovviamente, però... Cioè, io non ho ancora capito... (12 e 21) sta qua io a fare la somma, 7 di 16. Vabbè, comunque non siamo a 40 di sicuro, mi sembra che ce n'è uno da 40, no? Aspetta, punto di domanda. Qua.
There are places where our world is worn thin, and another reality brushes against ours. One such site is Cauldron Lake near Bright Falls, Washington. But there are others. That other reality is dark, vast, and malleable, always in flux. In its depths dwell vast forces and alien energies. They're dangerous. But in one of these places, if you know how, you can channel the power of that place and use it to shape reality.
Comunque le remedy sono finlandesi. Mi ricordavo che erano Nord Europa, ma non proprio. Ah, c'è un altro qua. Usa? Ah, ok. I molli.
As a storyteller, my first real love was crime. And it was in that genre that I finished my first novel, starring the perpetually miserable Alex Casey, whose entire life was a wound that never healed. The books sold as fast as they hit the shelves. I wrote 5 more Alex Casey books, and they all were bestsellers. I became rich. I became famous. Success brought pressure, and I didn't handle it very well. The darkness rose from the depths of Cauldron Lake and took Alice. It needed words. It needed me to write its way into our world. She was leverage, a hostage. I complied, but with a twist. I put in a loophole that gave me a chance to fight back. I was hunted by shadowy enemies, but I faced the darkness. I fought it with light. I drove it back. I saved Alice, but it came with a cost. I was trapped in the dark place below Cauldron Lake.
Questo qui però è difficile da usare. Cioè, considerando il danno che faccio è nullo. Ma io l'altro. Cioè, è difficile nel senso che c'ha il... pochi colpi. Boh. Non riesco a capire davvero come abbia fatto la remedy. Sì, questo è nuovo. Comunque no, come cosa sono nuove pagine qua. Sì, non riesco a capire come ha fatto mi dai la pagina? Cioè, a fare un gioco, cioè una cosa così differente, anche solo i nemici.
Stories come naturally to us. We can't help it. There are many different worlds, many competing realities within our heads, fueled by books, television, even barely remembered childhood tales. There's an endless supply of fictional concepts more familiar to us than anything or anyone real. We have a far greater connection to the fictional characters we know and love than the random people we pass on the street. Our destinies and inspirations are shaped by lies, myths, and fables.
Molto più di quello che non credi. O che non dici. Soprattutto se si parla di giornali, hanno creato ormai da decenni una realtà alternativa.
Is it? I suppose you'd better come in. I'll unlock the door.
Thanks.
I know what you're thinking. Evil twin, supernatural powers. But most of the time, I just like to keep things basic. I want you to understand that. Like this. Need to get your hands dirty? No batteries, no moving parts, just physics. That's technology you can depend on. It's a classic. Speaking of classics, you need to be careful with this one, though. If the victim suddenly twists, you might end up cutting yourself. It's not
Bestia,
really
insomma.
a horse, but I'm a sucker for this style. Now this is more like it. You've got slip-resistant grip. Believe me, you really want that traction once you're wrist deep in somebody. The blade's stiff enough so it won't open by accident in your pocket, but it's still really easy to open with just one hand. Now that's a big thing for me. I know what you're thinking. It's too big, too heavy. But sometimes you just need the extra oomph. If you're talking intimidation, this is gonna do the job. Also great for dismemberings and whatnot. You know, the messy jobs. I can't tell you how many things I've MacGyvered with this stuff. Okay, now guns. Not a big fan. I mean, how are you supposed to really connect with somebody with a bullet? I want you to understand that. I take pride in what I do. We can't both be worthless hacks, can we?
You'll have to forgive me, but this feels very strange. It seems like this has all happened before.
I have the replacement part for your telescope, Doctor.
All right. Let's get it installed.
Facciamo scorta prima, va? Ok. Come lo da qua? Qua. Cioè, è fuori? Per forza. Però...
I think we can give this a go, although I have this strange feeling that something will
Don't
go
start
wrong.
it up yet. There's a problem with the coolant system.
Yes, that's right. I remember. All right, let me think. If they're sabotaging it, they'll be at the primary coolant pipe outside. If you can secure it, we should be ready to pick up the signal. That is why you're here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'll take care of it.
Before you go, if you have the time, I'd appreciate if you came up here and explained a few things. All of this is very strange to me.
Strano che non mi dica... Dopo. Cioè, che non la manda a quel paese, non la mandi a quel paese e non gli dica no, non abbiamo tempo.
Hello.
I don't quite know what's going on, but I seem to remember having had this encounter before.
It's not déjà vu, Doctor. This has happened before. We're caught in a time loop.
That's utterly insane. How could that be?
I can't really explain it. I suppose I could call it magic.
I don't believe in magic.
Neither do I, but I can't argue with what I've experienced. Listen, what matters now is the signal. The last time we only caught a part of it. I need the rest of it. Whether you believe me or not, you want to look into this as much as I do, right?
Yes. All right.
I realize that you have trouble believing this.
That's an understatement. I can't deny that what you say resonates with me on some level I don't pretend to understand. But for all I know, I'm simply delusional.
But it's not just you. I've experienced the same thing as you. Doesn't that prove something, at least?
Maybe. On the other hand, given your appearance, and the fact that you're trying to convince me that I'm not insane, perhaps you're merely a hallucination that accompanies my delusions.
You're not having a psychotic episode, Doctor. For what it's worth, I'm a skeptic by nature. I completely understand your reluctance to believe me.
There are people caught so deep in their psychosis that they retroactively manufacture memories and beliefs that conform to the situation at hand.
Sure, but you have to stop second-guessing yourself at some point, if you want to get something done.
La grafica in queste location è veramente povera, sembra giocare a Half-Life tra un po'. Il primo intendo. Molto low poly, molto blanda, e anche in una location così, però ma anche fuori è un po' così, cioè lo stesso gioco base mi sembrava meglio. Vediamo se c'è questa. No. Ok, 26,53. Solo 26. Ma non è mica sbloccata. Il fucile non ne richiedeva 30 o di più.
The Taken may well be the tool the darkness favors over any other. At some point, they used to be human, but whatever humanity they once had is long gone. Now they're just shells covered and filled by darkness. The Taken Mr. throws at me are more grotesque and varied than the ones I first encountered in Bright Falls. But I know how to deal with them.
Cosa?
I'd be lying if I said they don't frighten me.
Cosa?
But I've survived worse. I can't let them stop me.
Sono più vari e grotteschi, più vari. Adesso sono 3 in croce. Lasciamo perdere che sono i vestiti che non c'entra niente, perché uno è di pompiere, ma anche là c'erano i poliziotti, eccetera, quindi vari. Sono più vari e grotteschi. Ma che... No. Boh. Mi raccontano anche le palesi bugie. Tra l'altro ho fatto le prime prove in realtà con Control. No, che ci fosse bisogno, perché cioè, nel senso, in realtà avevo avviato una partita ancora 27 e non c'è livello di difficoltà, ho controllato. Addirittura lì non c'è livello di difficoltà, c'è solo una specie di... Nelle opzioni c'è una parte che c'è scritto assistenza, quindi è tipo l'assistenza alla mira, quelle cose lì, basta. Cioè se vuoi un aiuto ti dà quello, no? Ti aiuta a mirare, eccetera, eccetera, ma parlo, presumo, anche col mouse, non solo col pad.
After my disappearance, they thought I was dead. I might as well have been.
Spero che non sia così
I know
per
it's
il...
been 2 years. I know Alice has moved
Per
on.
il 2.
I've tried to find a way back to her, back to my life, but escaping the dark place is almost impossible. Time does strange things here, but dreams and radio signals can pierce the veil between the worlds. I catch glimpses and echoes of the world. Sometimes I send
Sono
messages out.
sonno.
I can only pray that they hear them.
Non so, stamattina sono un po' addormentato, penso che si capisca anche. Ma non dovevamo venire qua, scusa. Ma anche la macchina dove avevamo trovato... Garantisci la sicurezza. Cioè lo scopo nostro è diverso adesso, perché le tubature... Ah, ok. Vabbè, andiamo là. Così... Tra l'altro non avevamo recuperato quella cosa lì, no? Quella lì della... Cioè, non mi ricordavo che fosse in quella macchina lì, dietro lì, però boh, non lo so. Ripeto, stamattina, boh. Non capisco nemmeno perché. Va bene, non ho dormito tanto, però boh. Cioè anche queste granatine qua non fanno un cavolo.
These beams hate the light, am I correct? You should be able to turn on the lights and secure the area that way.
Doctor, can you hear me? I think we're good to go.
All right, I'll start looking for the signal. Please, head back.
La tubatura è...
Guess they didn't like that.
Cioè non poteva spaccare la tubatura così?
That mountain's trying to kill me.
No. Come facciamo a essere vivi? Ah, ecco. Cioè,
I guess they didn't like that.
a me sembra che fosse a zero completamente la vita.
Damn mountain's trying to kill me.
Ma quello non ci viene addosso? Dov'è che passiamo qua? Di qua? Vabbè. Ora devo vedere contro allora la difficoltà. Non riesco proprio a capire dove gli salta in mente di farlo così facile. Ma perché solo questo? Guarda che in generale anche quest'anno parecchi stanno facendo così, parecchi giochi stanno semplificandosi.
It's working. Please, come up here.
E finalmente anche certe riviste o testate stanno lamentandosi perché, cioè, ma dammi l'opzione, dateci l'opzione. Cioè, sta a noi poi.
Find the signal?
È che loro trovano più comodo così, sono sempre lì.
We had the last time. Still, we're definitely picking it up.
Are we getting the complete signal now?
I'm afraid not. Take a look at it yourself. I'm printing out a hard copy now. I'd like to ask you a question or two before that, though, if you don't mind.
Cioè, non è stato danneggiato né nulla, ma non è completo nemmeno.
What's on your mind, Doc?
Stavolta.
Most people would find these events extremely disturbing, provided that they survive these creatures, that is. You seem to be quite adept at dealing with the situation. Why is that?
Yes, I was involved in... It's a complex story. I was in this small town, and a horrible thing from another dimension kidnapped my wife and manipulated me into writing this horror story that came true. I learned to fight it with light, and I managed to contain it and free my wife. But I was trapped in its world.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. So, I'm used to reality working in strange or even impossible ways. And I fought these things, not exactly like this, but close enough for a good while now. Of course, I have certain advantages. Was there anything else?
What did you mean when you said you have advantages?
At the risk of sounding like a lunatic, reality is much more fluid than people think.
Fluid.
Be influenced.
I didn't take you for a mystic.
I'm not. I'm a writer. And under certain conditions, I can, for lack of a better word, rewrite reality. Change things.
That's absurd.
But it works.
Assuming I believe this, why don't you simply, I don't know, write yourself some superpowers?
It's not quite that simple. You need to follow certain laws of drama, I suppose. You need to think about consistency and symbolism. Often what you write isn't anywhere near as important as what you apply. There are things out there that will take advantage of your mistakes.
You really believe in this?
Cioè, inventarsi un ragno che ti morde e ti dà un superpotere non è drammatico abbastanza. Diciamo che vabbè, ok. Danno una scusa al fatto che la cosa sia in un certo maniera e non in un'altra.
Don't look at me like that. You've experienced some of this yourself.
I will gladly admit that something
Ragno
extremely
radioattivo.
strange is going on. But this idea that you're somehow altering reality with your writing is ridiculous. You're essentially saying you're controlling my actions. Leaving aside the rational arguments against this, what gives you the right?
Well, it's more like having a destiny. A path you're on. You're not aware of it, but there it is. If somebody changes it, what difference does it make? It's what every writer does. If you write something that affects one of the characters, they don't really know about that.
I'm not a character. Are you saying that it's all right to take advantage of someone if they aren't aware of it?
Look, all I meant was that if you're genuinely making all your own decisions, and those decisions lead to whatever destiny you have, what practical difference does it make?
I suppose that depends on whether our destinies are determined by things like physics and probabilities, or natural reality, which is presumably neutral and impartial, or by some kind of an intelligence. If it's the latter, that intelligence makes choices based on some criteria. If we suffer as a result of those choices, there's a moral and ethical element involved, regardless of whether we're aware of its manipulations. Wouldn't you agree?
You're taking this very well. I thought you'd be hangry.
I suppose I would be if I thought you could actually do this.
Vorrei che...
printout. Another signal fragment. The message is still not complete, but it's another piece of the weapon he has built against his adversary. Mere words on a piece of paper, but in the right hands, they will hold back the darkness.
Cioè, praticamente è Kubrick, il regista. La telecamera fa così girando intorno. Qualcuno del team qui deve studiare un po' di la regia.
Last time the man came to the drive-in, it did not end well. He hopes to avoid that fate this time. He hopes that what he has brought with him to
Ecco,
this
io spero che non ci sia un terzo giro, stavo per dire. Oh.
Serena's probably out of her mind again. But I'm gonna need that key so I can get the power back on.
29,53. Vabbè.
To change the world, you must craft a blueprint for the new reality. Any work of art will do, as long as it's a genuine act of creation. That's what the energies of the dark place respond to. The results may be subtle and perplexing, or far-ranging and momentous. My area of expertise? The written word. gives much more precise results than music or interpretive dance would, for instance. But words can be extremely dangerous. What you define may become reality, but so can that which you imply, even if you don't realize you're doing so.
You again?
I'm really just here to get the keys so I can get the power back on.
Do you want to hold me down? It's okay. I know you like that.
Yeah, I'll just grab the keys.
I could be like your wife, little wifey, waiting at home for hubby. Or you could be the mailman, or the neighbor.
I'm already married to someone who isn't crazy, thanks. I'm just gonna go and get the power back on.
Aww.
Look, I may or may not be back. I have the access code to the booth already, so once the power is on...
You should totally come see me. We could have fun. You know.
We'll see how it goes. You should sit down or something. Try to stay calm.
I don't want to be calm. I want to be nasty. I want to be nasty with you.
Yeah, okay.
You could do anything you want. You can use my...
Let's not even go there. I was hoping that
Corpo.
you'd remember more, but I guess that was too much to ask.
Era quello che voleva dire? Allora.
I was about to do the weather, but I see we have a caller. Hey, you're on the air with Eddie. What's up?
Hey, Eddie, it's Ricky. You talked about fate before. You think about that a lot?
Not a lot, to be honest, but I take it you do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Any conclusions you'd care to share, Ricky?
Well, we've got free will, right? That's in the Bible and everything.
Yeah, right, sure.
So free will, right? Am I right? I mean, if we can do what we want, how can there be fate? I mean, you don't know what's going to happen next, so there's no fate. There's just people doing stuff.
Well, I don't know, Ricky. I don't suppose you have considered the possibility that we're all here in the service of a greater purpose, incomprehensible to us,
and that what we take to be freedom is nothing more than the move of a pawn on some cosmic chessboard, limited in scope, subject to the whims of unseen players,
existing only for their entertainment.
Or perhaps we're just a
reflection
of actual events that can happen elsewhere. Could it be that such is life in Night Springs?
Dude, what?
Food for thought, Ricky. Food for thought.
Ma era Grafico che parlava insieme? Cioè, non era normalissima la voce, no? Sembrava impossessata.
My writer's block got worse. I didn't sleep much anymore. My life with Alice seemed like a constant fight. I was a wreck. Alice took steps. She booked a vacation in Bright Falls, a small town in Washington. It was supposed to be a chance to break out of the cycle.
Washington.
She didn't know about the darkness in Cauldron Lake.
Qui è tutto chiuso. Ah, qua la varietà. Ma come cazzo hanno fatto a scrivere più vario e grottesco di... Cioè, a parte quello che svolazza, che poi grottesco non è comunque. Stava per venirmi addosso. Sì, vado qua. Tra l'altro mi fa venire voglia di Fallout New Vegas, queste ambientazioni. Ah, il posto della mitraglietta. Ma anche qua mi dai tutte queste armi qui, ma fammele portare almeno 6, 7, cioè voglio dire, no? Che c'entra il cambio tra un dopiettone e il fucile questo, oppure tra le mitragliette e questo qua? Cioè la mitraglietta abbiamo visto che può andare lontano, questo qua no. Quindi boh. Proviamo a prenderlo lo stesso, giusto per vedere com'è, ma non sono convinto per nulla. Vogliamo sapere un punto di domanda sulla minimappa. E che così più che altro testiamo anche se vale la pena tenere questa roba. Ma dove è andato ad attaccare questo qua? C'è già finito i proiettili. Aspetta. Vabbè, torniamo su un attimo qua. Cioè la mitraglietta ne puoi portare cose da 150, cos'è? Ci serve anche questa, non l'abbiamo ancora provata. Niente, non vedo punti. No, aspetta, è parso adesso. Allora qua.
I have changed. I know who I am now. I know that I can write my own fate. Bright Falls taught me that. I know that indulging my weaknesses, giving in to fear and complacency will only drag me down. The Dark Place taught me that. I'm no Zen master. I've not attained enlightenment. But I have learned to let go of the things that I don't need. I know that without that balance within, I become my own worst enemy. Now I strive for equilibrium, and with that, I'm strong enough to get where I want.
Non volevo passare sopra qua. Vabbè. A me mancano un po' un gioco decente, ambientato per esempio appunto in una residenza vittoriana. Una cosa tipo, per chi lo conosce, Realms of Haunting, era Glemmin, se non sbaglio, di molti anni fa. Allora guarda come si è inchiodato questo qua. Perché c'è fucile a cecchino. Ce l'ha ammazzato con un colpo, quello là. Vediamo se vediamo pagina. Qua sì.
It's obvious that for all his power, Mr. is an agent of another greater being. The dark place he came from is full of terrible alien intelligences, dark presences, and none of them should be let loose in our world. He serves one of them. He'll open the way for them if I don't stop him. But he'll do more. He'll take over my life. He already has my face. He already uses my name. He'll become Alan Wake in every way imaginable and corrupt everything, unless I can stop him.
Ma non era più comodo se per esempio col tasto destro usciva? Devo stare qua a cercare F5. Cioè che magari F5 lo faccia partire, ok, però